Brought to you in part by Monadnock Flooring and Decorating, offering quality sales, service, and installation for over 35 years on Production Avenue next to Subaru of Keene. Hey everybody, welcome to A Culinary Journey. I'm Luca Paris. We are going to make burgers today. Not just any burgers, but burgers I love to eat. We're going to do a chicken burger, kind of chicken cordon bleu burger, ham and Swiss cheese on a ciabatta bread. I needed to make this again. I made it years ago and I want to show you all about it really quick. It's amazing. We're going to do a Gorgonzola bacon and mushroom stuffed burger with ground beef. Oh. And then finally, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but if you did, White Castle makes these fine, thin sliders, right, with a little cheese on it, the burger, the onions. Oh. Let me tell you, we are going to attempt to create a White Castle burger here, a steamed burger with the holes in it and everything. Might be a little different in size, but you're still going to love the way it comes out. So our 3 burgers in our culinary journey starts now. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. Hey, we're going to make burgers. That's right, burgers. 3 different types. What we have to do is get them set up first, okay? So you got to follow with me because we got to get the White Castle burgers set. This is important that I have to get them set. So what I'm going to do is let me start with those and show you what we're going to be doing. First of all, these are the closest things I found to the soft sliders. They really are good, but the key to this is steaming the buns at the same time. 2 ingredients I'm going to need to use this in here. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of onion powder. It calls for a dry onion or onion powder. We're going to add salt and pepper because we want to season it nice, right? Okay. This is number 1. Second thing, while that is there, I'm going to start getting something else started, which is the bacon and the mushrooms that are going into our other burger. And I'm just going to cut up the bacon. Right? We're going to get it into a pan that's already starting to get warm. Now here's my little fun trick. Bacon, no oil in a pan. Put a little salt and pepper and actually put a little bit in the pan too. And then let that cook down. We're going to add mushrooms to that. And then later on we're going to let the Gorgonzola kind of just fit in there, all right? So this is all going to go inside of our burger. We're not worried about making our burgers too rare if we don't have to because there's going to be so much moisture inside the burger. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. So, and I love rare burgers, don't get me wrong. But there'll be moisture and flavor in the burgers. We won't have to do too much on the outside of the burger. All right, good. We got that going. Let that cook. In our other ham and cheese cordon bleu burger, same thing, but we don't have to cook anything up. We're going to just chop some ham. This is ground chicken. You could do ground chicken. You can get it from the supermarket anywhere, and you could just get that. If you have a butcher that grinds their own chicken, that's good too. You do want to have some amount of fat in there because you want to be able to cook out that fat to give more flavor. Don't go totally lean on your chicken; it'll get too dry. But we are gonna make the ground chicken like I make my meatballs too. We'll give it a little bit of breadcrumb because they won't hold together by themselves. So we have that. We'll drop in 1 egg, right? Drop in 1 egg. And we're going to put some breadcrumb. We'll use a little bit of that onion powder since we have it. Just give it some more flavor. A little Ariosto in here, and this is our cordon bleu. We're going to set that aside. And then for our hamburger, this burger that we had before, this is our first one, all right? Because the idea is to get all these ready. And once these are all ready, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to put this bacon and mushroom and some Gorgonzola into this mix. So let's worry about that later. All right, so we got our bases set up. We got our Cordon Bleu going. We have our regular hamburger with the mushroom going. And now the hardest part is to make our, well, hardest part, this is the easy part, to make our semblance of White Castle burgers. Now, White Castle is a company that was set up a long, long time ago. Actually, it was the first business to serve 1 billion burgers back in 1961. So anywhere, any other sign that said it, they weren't first. Because these burgers were about this big, and you have to get like 10 of them just to feel like you had one. So they are going to be a little bit bigger. So, oh, I was supposed to mix you first. Sorry, get back in the bowl. Back in the bowl, back in the bowl. All right, so we're going to mix this up real quick. And then we're going to do a fun thing with this. So we'll put it on here. Ta-da. Get the rest of that. All right, we won't need you anymore. We're going to need a plastic wrap. And you'll see what we're going to do with the plastic wrap in a second. The thing about the burgers at White Castle is that they were very, very, very thin. So I don't know if we could get as thin as those, but we're going to try and get as thin as we can. So what you do is make sure it's all seasoned, put it in the center, and start pushing it out like it was pizza dough, right? Y'all excited yet? Because this gets even better. This is fun where you have the kids help you out. All right, we get another couple on top. Now you've seen me pound out chicken this way, where you kind of put the chicken in the, or veal or pork or any type of scallopini in between plastic wrap. Now, because the budget on my show doesn't allow me to get a baking pin or a baking rolling pin, I use a bottle because I could drink with it afterwards. And watch how this rolls out nice and thin. You start going from the center, start rolling out, and you want to try to get it as thin as possible. So just keep rolling out the burger meat. Now what's great to do with this, now I actually freeze the burgers ahead of time after I do this process. I can turn it. So they're starting to get thinner. And I freeze the burgers. Let's check out over here. Our bacon's getting really yummy. Let's make sure it cooks up nicely. There we go. Ooh, it smells good too. Now, if you have a big enough flat top, you could actually just cook this right onto your flat top like this. Look at that. See that? See how thin it's getting? I don't know if you can catch that, guys, but let's see. Let's check it out, see how thin we're getting. Now, I don't think we'll ever get as thin. Can you get that? Look at that. That's pretty thin. That's not bad. We're right on target. I just make sure it's the same way all the way around. Now, you don't want to worry about getting too fancy, right? Because they're square burgers, right? We have rectangle buns, so we have to do rectangle burgers on top of rectangle buns. So you don't want to get too if you don't want to get too fancy and not throw away the outsides of this, you should utilize the whole thing. But what I like to do is I kind of square off my burger and then I make something with the other pieces. So I'll just cut these parts off. Don't worry, we'll use these. This is easy done burger for yourself. That doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're trying to impress someone like our producers and directors, you want to go to the next level. You want to actually cut them. So some of this, why it's pink and not, this probably has a little bit more of the Worcestershire that we had. Also oxidizes a little bit, but that's okay because it's all going to be cooked together. So we have this nice thing. I take one of the buns and I try to get a range about how big I want to cut it. I'm actually going to cut it a little bit bigger than the bun because it is going to shrink. Now the difference with these type of burgers and regular burgers also is how they're cooked. They are, let's go here. They are steamed. They're not seared. They're actually steamed where we actually take them, we flip them. We don't ever flip them. You actually just put them on the onions and you let them cook, and you'll see that a little bit later. Now, Let's go across to these two. And there's one, there's two. And what's great about these is you make them up ahead of time and you freeze them, right? Now, Lee will say to me, you know, there is one thing you're missing with a White Castle burger and what you're making here, Luca. Oh yeah, they're thin, that's cool. Oh yeah, you got cool buns. Oh yeah, you have the concept down. Well, where are the holes? Well, that's easy. You take the hole making apparatus, and that's a real special kitchen gadget. And it's right here. And you make little holes right there, and there's 5, right? 5 traditionals. And depending on how big you make them, you might make 6. But let's go with this right here. Look at that. Doesn't that look like a... Look at that. Oh, you could do a smiley face. No. All right. All right, so we got that. All right, now, here's where we're at right now. I'm making holes in my burgers. That's going to allow the steam to get through and cook. So we might actually use these and not even use the frozen ones. Here, in my other burger, the only thing I'm going to add to this is my blue cheese. I'm going to add some blue cheese and my mushrooms. And what I'm going to do is you're going to go on a break. I'm going to mix all these, clean up here, get ready to put these on the grill and show you how to make a White Castle burger, which will be the last thing I do. We'll let this set in the refrigerator a little bit, and then we'll bring them back out, make White Castle burgers. So when we come back, we'll make the blue cheese burger and the Cordon Bleu burger, and you're going to absolutely love them. So don't go away. A lot of cool stuff ahead. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. The most fun about the show is when we're not filming. But you get to have burgers. That's right. We have 3 different types of burgers in front of us. Let's come over and check them out. So we did our mushroom, blue cheese, bacon burgers, or in this case we did Gorgonzola. We have our chicken burgers, which need some breadcrumb in them to hold them together. And then we have our White Castle burgers. Look at that, nice and thin. It's as close as we're going to get to those White Castle burgers. Maybe we should stop calling them that because they'll probably call me up and say, stop calling them White Castle burgers. So those kind of white burgers, yeah? All right, so on the grill is where we're going to put our mushroom burgers, our hamburger burgers. And I'm going to just push them so that way the center is a little bit lower than the outside. So when they grill up, you know, they tend to shrink up and then pop in the middle. But we're going to have that happen, but it should even itself out. Now remember, with any burger that you stuff or you fill, you're going to actually cook them a little more through, and they're going to stay moist because there's a lot of ingredients in there to keep it moist. I'm a guy that likes rare burgers because they stay moist. But when you do something like the really, really thin burgers, they're going to cook all the way through no matter what you do. But they'll be moist at the same time. All right, let's turn this down because that's getting a little too high. All right, I'll bring that over a little bit. All right, so we got those going. In this pan, what we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken burgers that have to cook all the way through because they are chicken. So we'll cook them all the way through. A little oil in the pan. There, that's going to get nice and hot. And let's take that off a little bit. We'll get our chicken burgers in there. We're going to get them a nice sear on either side so they cook through. 2. Now in here we put chicken, ham, and Swiss cheese, or Cordon Bleu style. And again, there's going to be a lot of moisture in here. We had to put some eggs and breadcrumbs or else the chicken doesn't hold together as well. We're going to let that sear in. And let's go over here to our White Castle burgers. Now the first thing you need is onion. Because what's the difference between a burger like we're doing on these two and the difference between this is that these are a steamed burger. The actual process of cooking doesn't happen where it directly hits the pan. So what we're going to do is saute. In this case, we're going to be using some shallots because we're going to take it to the next level. And we're going to add some salt and pepper to that. If I find it, we'll find it eventually. But we're going to let that cook down a little bit. Now, for bread, here we're using these little slider rolls. They're going to be light. We're actually going to make sure they steam along with our burgers over here. We need some white American cheese. We need some ketchup. For the bread on our other burgers, we're going to use a ciabatta bread, which just mimics a hamburger roll, just has a little more flavor. But the key to this, though, is actually making sure there's mayonnaise on either side. Now, one thing when you make a burger, and there's just a lot of natural fat in here. And you need a fat barrier. You know, unless you like soggy bread or bread that, or whatever, a fat barrier. It sounds like what happens between my t-shirt and my belt. All right, whatever. Anyway, so what we're doing is putting the fat, which is the mayonnaise, to barrier between the fat, which is the oil, and the grease from the burger. It won't sogify your bread. That is a culinary term. Yes, you heard it here first. So we're going to get those ready. And we'll get those ready for our burgers coming up. Let's go back and check these bad boys out and see where we're going. And then we'll get, once we get our White Castle burgers on here, we'll be able to take a quick little break. So, to go back and check out our chicken first, we should get one part of it seared, yeah? One side seared, and we start flipping them over. Now, my goal here is this. We'll actually take that break right now because we need to cook down our onions. We need our other two burgers to start cooking all the way through. Whoa, that's a spatula and a half right there. Get in there. All right. We need these burgers to catch up because our thin burgers or our slider burgers are going to cook a lot faster. So we got our chicken burgers cooking. We have our hamburgers cooking. We have everything ready to put this all together. We are going to take a break, make sure the onions are cooked, start steaming our burgers. And when we come back, we're going to have a burger party. You don't want to miss this because you'll love it. Maybe we'll bring Lee up here to see what he thinks about the White Castle burgers. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. I am making our faux White Castle burgers, according to Lee. And these are absolutely incredible. What I've done here is I've kind of sauteed the onions down. We'll put in the burgers on top. We need to steam the burgers. Now, when you go to White Castle, you'll see them make it. It's pretty impressive. They put them all down, they're all in a row. And one of the things I like to do, and make sure I have this, is how you steam the bun at the same time. Because it's really important that the actual bun itself is nice and moist too, because that's part of the whole thing. There you go. We'll get those all on there. It's going to kind of help the process go along. Now what I like to do with them too is kind of, again, move this process along by steaming the whole thing. I'll actually take these off of here in a second and cover them because I want to steam them all the way through. But let's take a look at everything else we're making. So, we have our burgers and our buns working over there. Let's check out the other ones we made and see how we did on those. First, let's take two of our chicken burgers. Does that fit on top of there? Nah, it doesn't. All right, we're going to just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Let's take two of our chicken burgers. See how they come out. You can dress them up with whatever you like. But we'll see what this looks like after you cut it to the center. I actually closed that up so it could cook quicker on top, but voila. Nice and juicy and moist, and that's cooked all the way through. And that's going to have a ton of flavor in there. So we have our chicken burger. Let's go see what our hamburger is up to. Oh, let's go put you right like that, all right? Shut you off. Yeah, this is going to end up being a little more cooked than what I normally like, but it's still going to be absolutely wonderful. Because again, we have all that moisture in there and all that flavor, right? Oh, look at that. That looks beautiful. And we'll get another one of those going. All right, so it really comes down to this one last item. We had the mayonnaise on these, so we did our chicken burger, chicken Cordon Bleu, Swiss cheese and ham, and then we have the chicken. We put a little bit of eggs and breadcrumbs to thicken it up or to hold it together. And in this one, we did portobello mushrooms, gorgonzola, and a little bit of bacon, which I can't wait to get into either one of those. Shut these both off. Let's come over here and check out how we're looking over here. All right? Now, if I did it correctly, it's almost cooked all the way through, and these need a little bit more time. If you don't feel like they're ready yet, just wait. They'll get ready because they are steaming. And the process is a little bit different too you need to keep them close together. That's part of the process, is actually filling up this whole pan. And we'll do a nice effect on that. Oh, they already smell like it. They're there. I'm going to prove everybody I can do this. This is exciting. All right, just another second. And then the buns are getting nice and moist. You see that? This one's almost ready right there. All right. I'm just way too excited about these. You don't understand. This is something I've always wanted to do on the show. And I should just leave them alone because they'll cook when they're ready. This one's just about ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to show you what we're looking at here. When you usually get it over there, you flip it over. You put a piece of cheese on and ketchup. Not quite sure. Oh. It's always really good when you have your own show is to prepare your ketchup ahead of time. I think I've done this every show I've been on. Okay. There we go. Let's do it underneath. Let's do this. That. Bingo, that's one. Let's go get another one. Oh, that's perfect. All right. And cheese. And let's move them all over. So when I do these at home, what I do too is I wrap them in paper. You know, I take a paper bag and I put each one of them into a paper bag, because I think that's part of this that's really exciting when you have White Castle burgers, when they come in that box and they get even moister. The buns even get a little bit moister. But those are our White Castle burgers. I'll pull the other two off in a second. Let's shut this down. And there you go. There you have it. That's what we do. That's how we roll with our burgers. This is our little White Castle steamed burger on a bun with some ketchup and white American cheese. I'm going to enjoy this. You're going to want to make these. And I hope to see you next time on A Culinary Journey. Thanks. Brought to you in part by Monadnock Flooring and Decorating, offering quality sales, service, and installation for over 35 years on Production Avenue next to Subaru of Keene.